Kirsten Sinema knows a lot about begging rich people for money. In fact, she is such an expert in the field that she is literally teaching a class on how to actually do it. So now this is according to the Intercept, Ken Klippenstein with another great piece. So Klippenstein in the Intercept got a hold of Sinema's class at Arizona State University. So now the scrutiny over her ASU class actually came after she was ambushed by immigration activists who are not happy about her lack of support for Joe Biden's Build Back Better program. In fact, Sinema has been very cagey about why she won't support it. She won't actually give any specifics, although, of course, all you have to do is look at how much money she's raising from these corporations that are against it. I'll get to those details later. Now, the activists, one of whom is undocumented, were part of an immigration reform advocacy group, Living United for Change in Arizona, or LUCHA, and they are pushing to include immigration reform and a pathway to citizenship in the legislation. When Sinema declined to speak to the activists and walked briskly to the bathroom, they followed her in, and of course, bathroom gate, that's how that happened. Now, that made many right-wingers big mad. Suddenly, they cared about privacy. People like former Trump advisor Stephen Miller, whom Klippenstein reminds readers is the very architect of family separation and many other anti-immigration policies that were used during the Trump administration. Miller tweeted, "Illegal aliens are unlawfully harassing a U.S. senator to demand passage of Biden's budget reconciliation bill because it will give them amnesty." Oh, you mean the thing that Ronald Reagan did? Shock. Horror. As for Sinema, she, of course, was very, very mad. She released a statement. She said, "Yesterday's behavior was not legitimate protest. It is the duty of elected leaders to avoid fostering an environment in which honestly held political policy disagreements serve as the basis for vitriol, raising the temperature in political rhetoric and creating a permission structure for unacceptable behavior." So, okay, you want to talk about policy disagreements? I'm glad you brought that up, Kirsten. So what's the disagreement? What disagreement do you have? Have you said anything publicly about why you're opposed to Build Back Better program? Other than the vague, oh, it's too expensive. What's too expensive? What don't you like about it? What is it in there that you don't like? Why won't you tell us exactly why you won't support this legislation? Well, of course she won't tell us because she ignores her voters. And an example of that, of course, is the fact that she has not held a town hall in 3 years. 3 years. She doesn't take her phone calls. She doesn't speak to reporters other than giving little glib one-liners like, "Oh, I'm in front of the elevator, obviously. Oh, I'm in the Senate. That's where I'm at." That's not the question. So with that, how do you talk to her? How do you talk to her? Well, I know how you talk to her. You bring her a check. That's what it is. If you ain't got $2,800 to give to Kirsten Sinema, she's not going to talk to you. And so now we find out, thanks to the Intercept, that she is literally teaching a class on how to get rich people to give her money. As they explain, the course, titled Developing Grants and Fundraising, is one of 2 classes Sinema is teaching this fall at ASU. The syllabus, which was obtained by the Intercept, said students will learn diverse fundraising strategies for nonprofits, as well as how to cultivate donors, including large individual donors, by leveraging resources like opportunistic fundraising, finding supporters for major fundraising events, and, well, asking for money. That's literally in the syllabus. Asking for money. One of the required books is also called Fundraising for Social Change, and the outline identifies key course concepts such as corporate giving, political strategy, influence, and power, as well as more socially conscious terms like discrimination, oppression, and privilege. Now, on that book, Fundraising for Social Change, Klippenstein says that it is, quote, ironic in light of Sinema's attempts to ensure things like corporate tax rates remain unchanged. But Ken, you don't understand, that's the type of change she's looking for. That's exactly the type of change that she wants, the kind that goes into her pocket. Duh. But no. So now, this is the reason that she is against Biden's agenda. It's unstated, but we all already know why. Penn writes that having raised eye-popping sums of money from groups opposed to President Biden's Build Back Better agenda, Sinema has racked up some $920,000 in campaign contributions from said groups, according to an analysis by Accountable.us, a watchdog group that monitors corporate lobbying. In the past 2 years, she has received tens of thousands of dollars in maxed out contributions from private equity partners and investment firm CEOs who stand to lose in the event of a tax hike on corporations or the rich, as the Intercept reported last month. Sinema also recently told colleagues that she would not accept any corporate tax or income tax increases, according to reports from the New York Times. Sinema also threatens to obstruct Democrats' major drug pricing reforms, which would drive down skyrocketing pharmaceutical prices industry-wide by allowing Medicare to negotiate. Sinema ran on lowering drug prices back in 2018, the Daily Poster points out, but changed her tune as pharmaceutical industry began to court her. Since entering Congress, Sinema has also received more than $6 million in donations from the finance, insurance, and real estate industry. So it turns out that she is a master in what she is teaching. Got to give her credit for that. You know, that whole rise and grind, right? She is absolute living proof that her courses on how to kiss donor ass work. She can look at herself and say, look at me, I'm a case study. All this ass kissing that I'm teaching you how to do, you could be just like me. All you have to do is lie to get into Congress and then sell out. All it does require is some study time, a good old rise and grind attitude, and a complete betrayal of everything you run on as a candidate. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.